Hello, my name is Saremy, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make rouleau ties. Rouleau ties are a great alternative to a buttonhole, as seen here on the Greenbrier dress. These loops will fasten your garment without the use of a buttonhole, and they're sewn into a seam, so there's no button extension on this placket here. The plackets meet at the center. There's a little guard at the back here, and then the tie comes out of the seam and goes around the button. If you can sew the studio tunic or the hinterland dress, the Greenbrier dress is well within your skill set. And if you're interested in a course to expand your skills, but you don't know which one to choose, look at our guided placement for sewists, or GPS, which is linked in the description, and it'll point you in the right direction. It's not necessary to have any special tools when making rouleau ties. You can have something like a tapestry needle, and I have several different kinds here, but they're usually a larger needle with a more blunt point. Some of them might have a bend in them, like this one here. Here's a plastic one, and this one probably right here is for upholstery sewing. It has a bevel here at the tip, but any of these larger needles are going to work really great. But if you have something like a loop turner, this is the easiest way to make things like rouleau ties, spaghetti straps, any kind of strap where there's an open end on either end of the tube. But you can also just use a needle and thread, and I'm going to show you both ways with the loop turner and with a needle and thread. We're going to make a couple of rouleau ties together. For the Greenbrier dress, you're going to cut 2 of your tie pattern piece on the bias. And I'm going to show you a step that is going to make this extra strong in the sewing. And then afterward, you're going to give it a good steam to kind of shape them up. These are rouleau ties made in different fabrics. This one here is a rayon, so it's a little thinner. It's going to be a lot easier to turn. This right here is the double gauze. Double gauze will also be on the easier side to turn, but it is a little thicker, so it might give you a little bit of trouble. And you can see also that the edge gets very frayed with double gauze, as opposed to this rayon here isn't fraying very much. Fabric cut on the bias in general doesn't fray, but double gauze is an exception since it's 2 layers of fabric. This right here is a linen cotton, also kind of thick. You can kind of see that the double gauze is kind of a rounded shape, whereas the rayon is flatter, and this linen cotton too is a little bit thicker. These will probably be the hardest to turn through the tube, and the rayon, lawn, voile, things like that will be the easier fabrics to turn through the tube. One last tip that you're going to want to be aware of is that you need to use shank buttons when you're making rouleau ties, and you're going to need to know the size of your button early on in your garment making process, since you're going to sew the rouleau ties into the garment. Not like at the end of some garments when you're adding buttonholes and it's the last step. With rouleau ties, you do this pretty early on, so you're going to need to know which button you're using, and you're going to want it to be a shank or something like this with the loop at the bottom. There's a few different styles of shank buttons. So this will give you space for the rouleau tie to go around the button and sit below the top of the button and secure your opening closed. We're going to sew and turn 2 rouleau ties together. I have a little piece of scrap fabric here to use as a bumper, and we're going to decrease our stitch length quite a bit down to 1.5. You're not going to need to backstitch, and this is going to make it so that when we cut these apart, the seam is not going to come apart, and also it's going to lend strength to the tie since it is a button closure and it's going to get handled a lot. All right, so you're going to place your rouleau tie right sides together. This right here is double gauze, and we're going to put the bumper under the presser foot and just sew for a few stitches until we get to the end of it. And usually when we're talking about seam allowance, we're talking about the distance between the cut edge and where the needle is. In this case, we're going to run parallel to the fold of the rouleau tie. So we're going to sew this at a 1/4 inch seam from the fold, not from the raw edge, but from the fold. Now we can just sew right on top of the rouleau tie. And now we're going to fold the rest of this in half, and we're going to gently pull. This is going to lend it strength when it's in its final position. All right, now we're at the end. We're going to get our other one ready. Yours are probably the same fabric, but I'm going to show you two different fabrics for the turning. And again, we're going to put this right sides together and then just sew right onto it, gently pulling. There we go. And now we can clip these off. And we're going to want to trim down this raw edge here, since we're going to turn this right side out and all of the seam allowance needs to fit inside this tunnel here. All right, and now for the fun part. We're going to use our loop turner on one, and you're going to slip the loop turner all the way through to the other side. And the loop turner has a little clasp on it, if you can see right here, this little moving clasp. Now we want to hook the end, which is quite sharp, of this. Leave the clasp inside the tunnel. We're going to slip it under, trying to get that clasp. Since it's such a small tunnel, the clasp is going to be a little bit fussier. It's going to want to grab things. But what we really want is just to grab the end. And it's okay if this little bit of fabric gets damaged. You have extra ties here to make sure you have enough for the whole center front of your Greenbrier. All right, and so now when you start pulling, the real trick is being patient and trying to get a little bit of the entire end into the tube before you really start pulling. So you got to kind of get it gently started. And my fingers are going to try and slide this over this end here. And it's definitely a little subtle technique here. We're going to just, I'm even kind of picking it up and pulling it and trying to get it started. Now this is going to be the harder fabric because it's a little grabbier, it's a little thicker. So we're going to get it in there. And if you need to start over, give yourself a clean cut, do that. Sometimes I'll even pull the seam allowance, but I don't want to get too eager. We just really need it to get going in there, all that end. And then once it is, it'll be a lot easier. All right, we're starting to see a little progress here. And if you saw me do this on rayon, it would have already been done by now. That's the difference between fabrics. Okay, so now we have it. We have the whole end inside there. And now it's going to slide gently. And you want to make sure also that you don't push that way, because you might unhook the end and then you'll have to start over. So now we're just going to, don't squeeze too hard with your fingers, and don't do too much at a time. And we're just going to slide it through. And you can see I'm just grabbing like the last inch and a half here and sliding that. I don't pull up here and pull more. If it was a really easy thing to turn, you can do that. But some of these can be really hard. And if you get too greedy, it will definitely backfire. All right, so now that I have it all the way out, I always unhook it right away. And then I hold it with my hand to do the rest, because now I can really pull. All right, and then the end will feel a little bit lumpy, and I will use my awl or seam ripper to sort of dig it out a little bit and get it nice and flat. There we go. And let's make sure we got this. All right, and so now this is ready. And so now I would take this to the iron and I would hover my iron over it and steam it, just to kind of shape it and plump it up a little bit. All right, so now let's do our other one here, and we're gonna use a needle and thread for this one. Okay, I'm gonna get a pretty long piece of thread. I'm gonna fold it in half. Okay, so now we have our thread folded in half. And I've trimmed it just a little longer than my tube here. So right here, this is 4 strands of thread, and it's folded in half down here. And we're going to take these 4 cut ends and we're going to put it through the eye. Hopefully your eye is large enough. You can do them individually if you like. You can do this however you want, honestly, to secure the end. But I thought I'd show you a nice, easy way to do it. All right, so now we just have like a little tail sticking out here at the top, and we're going to leave the loop at the end here. And now we're going to go through the end of our rouleau tie here, and we're going to go through this loop and make a slip knot just like this, and make sure it's very snug. There we go. And now I'm going to pull a little more of this tail through just to make sure I don't lose it. And we're going to feed this in with the top of the needle, not the sharp side, through the tunnel. And I'm going to scrunch it up a lot. I'm still holding the end here. And then I'm going to hold this end that's leading and let it slide through just like this. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold it firmly at the sharp end, slide it through, grab the top, feed this through. And don't pull the thread, just try and pull the tube there, just in case. You wouldn't want to inadvertently grab the thread and then unthread the needle. All right, and then we'll go going through here. All right, and now we've made it to the other side, all right? And we can start trying to feed this in just like we did with the other one. And you want to get it started, and you want to get that whole end going. And it might be a little easier because we don't have the loop turner taking up space in here. It already feels like it wants to go. See, we already have it in there. It looks like a little belly button. All right, and then we're going to pull. And remember, our threads at the top of the needle here are loose, right? Remember, we have this loose guy right here. So if you want, you can take your needle off and just hold this cut end here, and now you know for sure it can't fall off. And there we go. Just pull it through a little bit at a time. Don't get too greedy. And now I can hold on to this end. It feels a lot more secure. There we go. And we'll just cut this off here and then make sure that we dig out the end there. And if you want to remove those threads, you can, but they'll get caught, they'll get cut off eventually. All right, and there we go. There's our other rouleau tie. All right, don't forget to iron or steam them so that they fluff up and kind of shapes them and gets rid of some of those wrinkles that happened to them when they were being pulled through the tube. Now I'm going to show you how to add them to the placket of the Greenbrier. I'm going to grab this first one that I made, so I have some matching ones. We're going to cut these into 6 centimeter or 2 3/8 inch lengths. We're going to cut a nice clean end here. And you need 5 or 6 depending on your placket or if you've made any adjustments to your opening. Now don't forget to change your stitch length back to your regular stitch length. We don't want to be on the 1.5 anymore. All right, we've cut our rouleau ties to 2 3/8 inch or 6 centimeters long. If you're using a button that's a different size called for than in the Greenbrier instructions, you're going to want to make sure that your ties are going to fit around your button before you cut them. Now we're going to transfer the notches of our button placket to our left front so that we know the placement of our ties. And I'm going to pin into the left front, leaving the head of the pin hanging off. There we go. All right, now I'm going to turn this upside down so that I can sew these as I place them. We're going to bend our little ties, and I like the seam on the interior there. And we're going to point our raw edges at the center front here, or the head of the pin, lining it up. And we're going to sew just to the right of the full seam allowance. The full seam allowance is 5/8 of an inch here. So I'm going to sew at like a fat 1/2 inch. I really like using my awl for little close things like this. And we're going to do our next one, and we're just going to go down the line, just bending them like this, lining up that raw edge to center front, trying to keep them as close together as possible. That's why I like the awl. And you want to try and be as consistent as possible when you're sewing these in so that all of your loops are the same size. Okay, now we can remove all of our pins. And I'm also going to remove my threads here so that they don't sneak into the bodice through the seam. And I'm going to give an extra row of stitches to the right here just because I do feel like these can still kind of wiggle around up and down. We're just going to give it a second row. keeping them nice and straight so they're perpendicular to center front. All right, and there we have our rouleau ties. They'll look something like this when they're completely finished. This placket gets sewn to the other front, and it'll be sitting behind it to offer some modesty there, just in case. Thanks so much for sewing with me. Good luck sewing your rouleau ties. They're a really nice finish, and hey, no buttonholes. And don't forget to check out how to learn to sew your clothes on Sew Liberated through the courses, and you can take the GPS quiz to find out which course or course bundle is right for you. Happy sewing!